Hang on, brothers and sisters. Liberation is near. It's almost time.
NWA and New World
Oh, is that friggin'?
I think it's a wrestling. It's a wrestling.
It
thing.
is the
NWA. You know,
Four
Four Horsemen was wrestling. And you see, like, that's my buddy. This is awesome. Like, that's my buddy when I first went to California. His name's Dennis, and he was out there, and he was awesome. And he did like the best pop show it's ever. And we were like got along real good because he was Portuguese. And we both liked wrestling, but I was way more into WWF, and he was into like the NWO or whatever it was. But I know NWA had to have been. It was Ric Flair. I know he was in there.
No, that's not the original.
No,
I think I know the original.
Dude, he's gonna really. What is it? Go.
Fucking nerds.
Scott Hall, aka Razor Ramon.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash, aka Diesel.
Wow.
This is embarrassing.
Hulk came in, right? Is he original?
Was in there when it was Hollywood Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, I think he like...
Was he original?
I'm pretty sure he's an original NWO.
Yeah, see, I almost...
That was when he got the beard black and left the mustache white.
Get it right, because there's going to be people on Twitter
That's 3.
calling me out saying we're wrong.
Well, Dennis...
What about Ultimate Warrior?
If Dennis listens to this, but like I thought it was like
Bret
the
Hart?
real original members were like the Ric Flair years. It was like Ric Flair and his crew.
Oh, really?
Remember, like, because they would like run around, yeah. But I was awful at that, like NWA stuff. I was so much more into WWF.
Every
like,
kid gets into wrestling. Like when you're little, every kid likes wrestling, and
Even
then you
now.
grow up and you're like, "Fuck, dude, what was
Yeah.
I into this for?" It's like acting. It's like soap opera.
It was way better. It was way better back in the day.
Yeah.
When it was just like not as
The
flashy.
Ultimate Warrior and Hulk
I know
Hogan.
Sting. Remember he went all like...
I think it might have been like, yeah, it would be like Ric Flair, like Sting, like, oh, man, I don't know, Dennis. I don't know. He's going to like tell... I don't know, dude.
I got a question from Jason. I don't know how to pronounce the last name.
Robital.
Okay, and he
That's
said,
another one of my friends.
Did he like Elvis Costello when he was young?
And he's saying that because he was like one of the first skateboard kids that I looked up to, and he used to like bully me a little bit and make me buy things that was skateboard related.
Yeah.
So he's like, dude, I was on the bus and he goes, dude, you like you're skateboard now, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, you like skateboard music? I was like, shit, yeah. He doesn't like skateboard music. Like, yeah, I like skateboard music. I didn't even know what it was. I just knew what like people would wear, and like there was like little sections in magazines that had like band names.
Yeah.
Like Corrosion of Conformity and Bad Brains and stuff like that. All those bands like my favorite bands now too. Yeah. But like, and he's like, yeah, man, you know, Elvis Costello is skateboard music, and I was like, yeah. And I remember seeing an ad in Thrasher magazine for like Elvis Costello's Spike tape. So he got the tape and it wasn't great, you know what I mean? It wasn't nothing what he wanted, so he sold it to me for like $5 and like it was skateboard rock.
Yeah.
And I got home thinking it was gonna be like punk rock, and it was Elvis Costello, which is Elvis Costello was punk rock, but not like in the
not
classic,
like traditional.
not in the like in the classic sense of the word. I mean, he's punk rock, but his music's not punk rock.
He's punk rock for the radio.
He's punk rock, yeah.
Yeah. You got a question, Ramsey?
Yeah. This one's from Tara, Anthony's fiance. Says New Bedford has a harsh line between the middle class and straight broke. You're in the heart of the city now with no Problemo. How does it give back to the community?
You know, like I think we give back by basically being open.
Yeah.
You know, and like really, like I mean, besides taxes, I mean, I pay a shit ton of taxes too.
Well, like
so
me and Tara,
I'll fix some potholes. And
me
you know,
and Tara
like,
were talking, and we were like, I was like, I know that Paiva hooks up some of the homeless people that come hang around the shop and whatnot, like
more than I need to. No, it was Buffalo.
And you give up Buffalo Bill, and there's a lot of dudes like even me. You hook me up with burritos and like a lot of local community and stuff.
Well, that's just because I was always broke growing up and just want to like hook people up, you know what I mean? But like I don't really try to hook the homeless up too much. Like I get to know them like they're friends almost. Yeah. Like Buffalo and Linda and Mo Dog and
like if they're
Holly Virgo. Like these are like if you are listening to the show and you go downtown, you know these bums. Yeah. Like these guys are like classic people, you know. And one day I'd give them $1 and the next day I'd throw them out of the shop. You know, it kind of depends on what mood I was in or how drunk they were in. Yeah, yeah. So like one day, he got a free burrito and the next day he almost got punched in the face. You know what I mean? Like that's how bums are though. You know, like bums are bums for a reason.
You guys treat them on how their high's going.
But I mean, like to give back to like New Bedford in general, it's just like just being open. Yeah.
Being open, successful in New Bedford.
Yeah, like showing like people that like, hey, like you can do it. You know what I mean? Like everybody thinks it was really easy. Like as far as like the shop is concerned, you know, everybody thinks like that. It was like. I was like not born into necessarily, but like it was like easy, you know. Like all of a sudden I was successful. All of a sudden one day I woke up and I was successful.
Yeah,
how did you start? No problem. Yeah. Like the first step.
Borrowed money off Jay and Grandison and Solstice.
No shit.
Yeah, they loaned me $2,000 and we got our rent. Man, we started it so awesome because it was small and it was me and a business partner, my friend Matt at the time, and we had the idea. I was working in the building that the shops are in, like that No Prob and Solstice and like all of our businesses, and it's basically I kind of consider it like part of our building, even though we don't own any of it.
Yeah.
But it's like our corner, you know. We started hanging out there, and the shop moved there, and I was working as like a maintenance guy, like a Schneider.
Yeah.
Kind of like fixing things up, and then the space became available. And I talked to a friend of mine who was like I knew him really well, and he was a hard worker and a good cook. So we like just kind of threw it together. Like we would literally borrow money off anybody that would loan it for us. I mean, I can't remember what we originally borrowed, but I didn't have any kids at the time, you know, like he didn't have any kids. We were just two young kids that had nothing else to really do, nothing else to lose, nothing to lose. So we were like, let's do it. So we like just forged forward and bought used equipment, and we needed more money. We got more money. We bought some stuff. We ran out of money. We were still working, so we were like putting our own money into it.
Yeah.
And like when we opened up, we didn't have a soda cooler. We didn't have a cash register. Like we didn't buy a cash register because we didn't have the money for a cash register. We literally opened up with $109 left in our bank account. And so the day that we opened up, it was like open or close. You know, we needed to open, so we opened, and then we had like a soft opening one night. It was a Saturday in September, and then we were closed for 2 days, and then we reopened for like regular. And we've been pretty much open since.
How long ago was that? Like 7?
That was 10 years ago.
10
Holy
years?
shit, really?
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Damn, we were just saying time flies, dude.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Holy shit.
I feel like it's still new. That's what's awesome.
Well, you know,
about it.
that goes, I think, with like me always like doing stuff to it. Like it hasn't been, if it was still the same old spot, maybe it would be like a little old feeling, but since it's expanded through the years, you know, and that was just out of necessity, you know, and since like expanding, you know what I mean? Like that's been like how it's come from like me being like a young kid who owns a taco shop to like a restaurant shop owner with like, you know, 29 plus employees and having to deal with like insurances and taxes. Giving back to the community with taxes.
Do you make a conscious effort to employ skateboarders?
No, it just happens that way because there's a curb out front. So usually, like if I see some kids skating there for more than 4 or 5 days, and I need a dishwasher, like, and they start in on dishes, and then they, you know, usually I try to make them cook, and it just so happened that because it's like skateboard oriented, because like, you know, when I was traveling skateboarding, trying to be like a sponsored skateboarder and do that whole thing, it was working in restaurants. So front of the house, I was a server, a bar back, a busboy. I was a busboy in a really great restaurant in San Francisco called Pier 23, and it was like, that was awesome. I learned a lot there, you know. I learned how to work like drunk there. That's the business, you know, getting beers, getting a little bit too faded out, and like still being able to smile, and like customers are kind of getting drunk by the end of the night, and it's just like a good time, you know, like. And it was just like cooking and working in restaurants. So when I came home and skateboarding, like I realized everybody was kick flipping into 50/50s instead of just 50/50.
Oh yeah, you can't do that.
It was, all right, what am I going to do now, you know? So restaurant came, like
How long
the
were
idea.
you in San Francisco for?
Off and on, like 2 years. You know, I'd go there, I'd come home, I'd go there, just traveling. You know, I was pretty good at being a nomad. You know what I mean? I didn't need a lot. I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have like, you know, stuff, you know. I didn't buy, you didn't even buy computers back then. I mean, I bought like records.
It's easy to travel around and do shit when you're free of all that bullshit.
I can't travel now.
You're trapped now.
I can't even go to Target right now with my whole family without planning for like a day. Like I have to be like, all right, we have everything that we have. You know what I mean? Like I moved to California one time on a moment's notice, like within a week. Somebody had a ticket that they didn't want, and it was back before 9/11 when you can just jump on an airplane with somebody else's ID. So my friend had a round trip ticket one time to San Francisco. He flew from San Francisco to Boston, and he had the back trip from Boston to San Francisco. But he was just trying to get from San Francisco back home, and it was cheaper to get the round trip.
Yeah.
So I bought the trip back to him in a week. He goes, you got to leave Wednesday. I was like, I'm out of here. And I already get left over there. I went there for 6 months and stayed with some people down in the Mission District.
Was Maxwell out there?
No, he was in San Diego.
Oh, okay.
That was all like San Diego. I liked it up north better because it was a little bit more like East Coast and grimy. And like I lived up there a bunch with all kinds of different people. Got to meet some awesome people.
Oh yeah.
Got to like watch skate videos one day with Julian Stranger. That was pretty cool.
What?
That was pretty cool.
Damn, sick.
I tried not to fan out too much, but the whole time I was like sitting on my hands like a little kid, like holy shit. He's talking about Jason Dill. I was like, oh man,
that's awesome.
He likes Jason Dill. Like it's awesome.
Yeah, I was seeing his board.
Right there.
Where is it?
Stranger.
Oh yeah, that one's sick, dude.
I love up north. I love San Francisco in general. I don't know like how people can go out there and just not want to like skate all day.
Yeah.
Skate all day and eat Mexican food all night.
Yeah.
Like that, and that was it too. Like you know, the burrito shop is kind of like it came from skateboarding because like while I was skateboarding going out to California, what's out there to eat? Like, where does
Dude,
everybody go?
everyone
You know
goes
what I mean?
right to
Like,
burritos.
you don't go out to California and like not end up at some burrito shop within the first day of being out there.
Honestly, like out here, it's missing that.
Yeah.
Like we're not in New Bedford now, but like everywhere I go, it's like in California you can get it any little town.
Yeah,
you can go to a good taco spot because they're gonna have it. Out here, it's like you got to go to fucking Chipotle.
You
and
gotta
it's like
wait.
dry bullshit.
Yep.
It's
Here,
all
you gotta
diamonds
go.
out here.
I mean, if you want
all
Portuguese food, you can get it all over the
Yeah.
place around here. You're not gonna find it out there at all.
Yeah.
But out there, man, just Mexican restaurants.
Speaking of Mexican
I would-
food,
What is it?
Thomas 3000 said, "What's up with the corn pop? And when is he gonna add it to the menu?"
That's not
We
Mexican
can't talk.
food.
Yeah.
That's not
That's
Mexican food.
that's not for anybody.
Paiva used to party a little bit back in the day. And he liked to
Listen.
he used to
Dude,
show
these
off.
questions
Next
are really
question.
throwing me
Next
off.
question.
All right, I got a
Next
question.
question.
I got a question for my brother. I used to hear rumors about this guy showing off some stuff.
I used to have a problem with being naked. I used to get nervous about being naked, and I'd want to like take my clothes off when I get drunk. And that was really, I think back about it now, it was just me trying to get like comfortable with my body, man.
You're comfortable?
Ain't nothing
now?
wrong with that.
No.
I'm comfortable now.
My brother Sam Shetler wants to
I'm
know.
comfortable now.
He said, to start, I'd like to state the obvious. Your varial flips are one of a kind and have made many hype, including me. Which brings me to my question. Did anyone inspire you to do buttery varial flips or instead, whose varial flips do you appreciate?
That would go back to Tim O'Connor.
Yeah.
Again.
Tim O'Connor's awesome.
Because he did one in Underachievers.
Yeah, and that was stuck with you?
Yeah, I always liked that trick. I used to be able to do a switch too, man.
Only a few people can pull off a legit varial flip, and in my experience...
See, I disagree. I think everybody can do it.
No,
I like the trick that much. I think
No,
I think there are
like
some people that do some really crappy ones where they
No,
kind of like
yeah.
rock it
Yeah.
and they're really low. But like when somebody does like an awesome one, they got like nice looking legs. I mean, it's almost like a 360.
legs.
Well, that's what it is.
Woo,
Like,
look at those
you know what I mean?
legs!
If their legs aren't like
Steeze it
stupid
out, right?
shitty, yeah, not even that. Just like all they have to do is do it like remotely right,
I'll give
and
you
not
the
have
list.
like a little crappy flip one. Like
Here's my list. Brian Anderson,
Brian Anderson, yeah, he does awesome ones.
Steve Nesser,
Yeah,
you're in the list. Craig Paiva, you're up
Thanks.
there with those guys. And who's the last one?
Roma.
No, sorry, Romar. No
Jeez,
one
Matt
personal.
Field.
Matt Field. Thank
Matt
you.
Field did
I was
awesome
I was
ones.
gonna say Matt Pales, but I think
Tim
it was Matt
O'Connor
Field.
did awesome.
Tim
ones. Bobby
O'Connor.
Pulio does a fakey one in La Luz, and that like is awesome.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Go ahead and pull out La Luz. You remember that?
I was
That
in
was so great. That video was so awesome.
I was in the video.
That was one of the last great East Coast skate videos besides the stuff that like Fibro puts out, but remember it was that time when like Static was coming out
Yeah.
and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like that video
Those
was
are awesome.
really really great.
I
Static
was
is more like worldly video now. It's not even an East Coast
Yeah.
video. Like their first videos like Cigar City and stuff was awesome.
Me and Chris Tremblay shared a part in La Luz, and to be honest, I felt like I did not belong in there. Because Bobby Pulio was in the video, and I was like,
He
dude,
had
I
the anchor
had...
part though, right? He had the last part. or
Yeah,
was he
yeah,
the
last
first
part. But I shouldn't have been in that video. I'm thankful. Thank you for letting me be in there. But
No
that
way.
dude, I
That was
wasn't-
like you and Chris were like up and comers back then. You guys weren't like the old timers now. You know
I
what
feel like I
mean?
fooled someone and like got lucky because that.
That's what
I
skateboarding
still
is.
look
That's
at it.
skateboarding is getting lucky. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like getting lucky and being a hard worker and somebody seeing something in you. How many good kids are there out there?
it's like
There's so
it's
many-
like it's like basketball nowadays. The odds are getting crazy to
Yeah.
make it. You know. That's
Well,
why
it's
in those
just every
companies
kid
they
can
do
kickflip.
your sponsor me tapes dirty too. Like Antoine said, they just throw those things away.
Yeah,
So to find someone who actually wants to like watch it, it's hard, man.
yeah. Hey, that's why I used to call up all the time.
Yeah, you
'Cause
gotta
even back
do
then-
something
Even
different.
back then, like you know
Yeah.
what I mean, like you had to like I was just trying to like stand out from like the other kids, and there wasn't even a lot of kids out back then. Like nowadays, I can't even imagine. Like that's what I think the problem with skateboarding is kids get to that level where they're like, hey, I ripped. Look at me kickflip this entire set of 15 stairs, but they don't have any depth to their skating,
Yeah.
and they're not gonna stick with it. They all like film like they don't film anything. They don't try. They just sit there and, on their thumbs and wait for it to happen.
I think kids too think that if they just skate good and they just send the footage, like they're just gonna get hooked up. What they don't
Yeah.
know is there's like a lot of legwork you
Mhm.
got to do. Like I didn't get sponsored for a long time. I had to drive out to California, make connections,
On
meet
your own
people.
dime, right?
Yeah, on my own
On
dime,
your
meet
own dime.
people. I had to enter every contest and try to do well in every one.
Yeah.
I had to like get interviews. I had to get fucking checkouts, and this is all by hustling on my own. No sponsors did that shit for me. I just like met the right people to shoot with. I did whatever it took to get there, and that was before I got sponsored.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nowadays, kids think you send a tape, people are gonna look at it and be like, "Yeah, let's hook them up."
Yeah, there's very few
People
that
gotta
have
know
it that
and
good.
care about you too to like want to really hook you up.
Yeah.
Like, so a lot of that's through interviews and video content and like getting to know someone. Like nowadays, tricks are just tricks. If you don't know the individual and why they do their tricks, then you're not going to stand out. Because everyone can do tricks nowadays.
Yeah.
So it's more about your tricks and who you are
how you
and
put your
how you get out
how you
there.
put stuff together, like what
Yeah.
you know what I mean. You have to really be better than just good.
Yeah, you have to be.
You have to be
great
like
nowadays.
really good. I don't even know how kids do it nowadays.
It's hard, but it still happens, dude. People get out there and
Well, that's
people are getting
it has
hooked
to
up,
happen,
like,
but it has to happen because skateboarding will die
yeah, if
unless
there's no
like
skaters,
unless people bring the stoke. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
bring like this kids that are looking at pro skateboarders on videos, and they want to be like that. You know, like they want to they want to skate like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they just get so stoked that they run out in the middle of the street and try the switch flip trick grind on their box, and they just try it all day long because they seen Josh Kalis do it. Or something like that. But when Josh Kalis gets too old, there's got to be somebody that's going to take Josh Kalis' place to stoke the next generation.
He'll
of
never
kids.
get too old.
That's true.
Like,
He's
His tray flips forever, dude. No
yeah,
worries.
he is pretty awesome.
But
then like people won't, and then like but that there needs to be like another generation to come up to keep kids getting stoked and make kids like want to go out and buy their board and
yeah,
you know what I mean, and support their company. You know what I mean. So that's kind of what you're trying to do. You're trying to basically be more than ever like the kind of skater that people. The kind of skater that a company's going to want you to skate for them because kids look at you and they want to skate.
Yeah.
And if kids look at you and they think you're stupid and they don't like your tricks are just like boring, they're not going to remember you. Therefore, they're not going to remember the board you were riding. And they're not going to go to their nearest skate shop
And honestly, nowadays, I'll give you the true, honest advice is like, don't try to copy anyone who's sponsored right now. Because, dude, you're just going to be like a recycled copy of that dude. And it's the same shit over and over. I'm bored. Yeah. I'm saying get weird. Like, be you, be original. Just do whatever the hell you want. Like, fuck it. If you're going to try, you might as well just be original. You know what I mean? Don't try to copy a P-Rod or whatever. We already had a P-Rod. Let's get some exciting shit. Back in the day, I feel like skating had way more variety. And now it's like, now you got like different clicks, you know, where I think it just needs to be weirdos.
You got like the different elements. And that's always kind of, it has actually always been that. It was in there in the 80s because everything was punk rock. Yeah. Skateboarding was the image.
Yeah.
So now there's different images that go with skateboarding. Yeah. So before skateboarding was the image and that was what you tried to be. Now like you know what I think is cool about skateboarding now is like you can be some hood rat from the projects and get a skateboard and people will be like, oh look at that dude skate. And then granted like you get beat up back in the day, but like now there's a company that kids will like, you know, some punk rock kid that's sitting there in the suburbs. He's like, oh my god, I want to. You know, I love Corey Duffel or something like that. You know, oh my god, like I love DGK. You have somebody that you can like relate to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Awesome. And like want to strive for it. You know what I mean?
It's awesome. Skateboarding's always been about having the misfits and all different types of people in it, you know, and they try to like box it in and try to mainstream it and turn it into like a commercial product, like have a bunch of the same dudes out there. But I feel like people who like skateboarding and pick it up, even now, I don't care how much they try to make it a sport. Even now, I still feel like it's for the oddballs. It's for the awkward people, the weird people that don't fit in and just want to do something different and like fuck society. Like even still to this day, even as mainstream as they try to make it.
I have this I call it the 100 kid theory. It's like 100 kids are gonna start skating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 70 of them are gonna quit regardless, no matter what they do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're gonna be left with 30. You know, now those 30 kids. Like they might really start skating. Like they're really gonna like adapt it as a lifestyle and start skating and maybe filming, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like let's say like 10 or 15 of those kids are going to like, you know, maybe put videos together and like put stuff out but never get sponsored, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're gonna like slow down skating in their later on years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're gonna be left with like 15 kids that are really gonna adapt it as like a lifestyle and keep on buying skateboards into their 20s and then 30s.
Yeah.
And then adapt it as a lifestyle, like somebody who's gonna skate forever. Like I got the bug, and I'm never gonna quit. I'm gonna be frontside 5-0 in the freaking mini ramp at the local skate park with my kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like if there's 100 kids that started skateboarding, there's only gonna be like 10 of those kids left over that are really gonna adapt it as a lifestyle.
Yeah.
I've seen it like so many times just with the scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With like my own local scene here, like kids that skate. And I remember like, dude, that kid was awesome. That kid dolly heel flip nose with a handrail. You know, like, what is he doing now? He's changing tires at Joe's Tire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's four-wheeling on the weekends, you know, like, and he was good. Like, he was a good kid, you know? He was, like, one of the best kids, you know?
Life is crazy like that. Like, sometimes, you know, those 15 kids, they just had the desire and passion to, like, hang on to it, and the other ones, like...
And maybe one of them is going to, like, get sponsored. Yeah. Like, one of those kids is going to get sponsored.
There's tons of dudes that work 9 to 5s, but their passion is just to shred with their homies at the park or wherever, you know? So it's tight.
That's, like, the key, I think. One of the other keys to surviving of like skateboarding is like because you need to sell product. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So naturally they're gonna have to like do like the lifestyle kind of stuff, but like for actual skateboards, for actual decks, you're trying to like get lifetime supporters of companies. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to get like that guy, that old man that started skateboarding, like some kid that started skateboarding in 2000. You know what I mean? He's already like 2013. Yeah. If he's not sponsored yet, he's not gonna get sponsored. But he still likes to go to the skate park on the weekends and shred with his buddies, and he needs to go out and buy a board. And what board is he gonna buy? Yeah. What board is that guy going to spend
Hopefully
his money on?
Board.
Hopefully a Shetler board. You know what I mean? But like, who knows? You know what I mean? Like they, you know, like some of these guys, like they've been riding toy machines since. Yeah. Hey, I got a toy machine in 2004, and I'm sticking with it. You know, like anti-hero. You know, like it's hard to keep people like loyal to your brand.
Yeah, I mean that's another reason why I did the podcast is because I feel like the more people know about the individual pro skateboarder, the more they're going to become a fan of you and want to support you. So I feel like on my podcast, we talk about real shit. So anyone who, you know, how often do you get to have a conversation with your favorite pros or people that you're interested in? So, and learn about them deeply. Because otherwise you got to read the interviews and it's like, not many people are keeping up with magazines and whatnot. So this is like an easy way. Like, okay, you get to learn about your pro skateboarders. You get to learn how they feel and what their ideas are, what they think. Like, I'd rather buy that dude's board if I back him because I know who he is as a person, not just his tricks, you know, a little more depth to that individual. Do you have another question on the Insta before?
Yeah.
I want to make sure we get those all done, and then I have my own questions too.
Well, Tony Ritter action, he says, how does it feel owning the best restaurant in the East Coast?
Yeah! Definitely.
What is the secret to being successful?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I'm pretty happy that anybody thinks it's the best restaurant. You know, like,
dude, so many people do.
You know, like I try not to get it like make you go to your head because then it's gonna like kind of go to shit after that. You know what I mean? But I think like as far as it's a lot of work. You know what I mean? I mean, man, I've got so much stuff going on over there that's just driving me crazy. Like I need a new cooler. You know what I mean? Like I'm sitting here. My new cooler that I got only a few years ago, I just got a picture that it was broken, you know, like, it really is constantly, like, basically just going forward and doing it, like, it sucks sometimes, you know what I mean, but you know, sometimes you got it, somebody's got to go in there eventually and, like, paint that bathroom, because the bathroom's looking like shit, you know what I mean, like, I'm trying to do that right now, it's just constantly, like, realizing that it's, like, a lifetime's worth of work, and, like, if I want it to have longevity, which I want my restaurant to be, like, the kind of place that I really only want to do a couple. I want to do like maybe one more taco shop, and then do like a taco truck, and that's all I want to do. And I want that to be like the kind of place that's going to be around for like 40 years. That like kids will bring like their kids to, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like this is a Mexican spot downtown, and the old man's fucking behind the bar, and he's yelling and screaming because some lady asked for ketchup.
He's talking about dinosaurs smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, he's talking about dinosaurs smoking cigarettes, and he just threw out a 45-year-old woman because she asked for ketchup. You know, like, that's what I want it to be like, you know? So, like, it's really, like, the success part is just staying with that in mind. Like, I don't think that closing will ever be an option for me. Like, I'll do something else. I haven't been working that much recently because I had a baby a year ago, so I've been kind of spending some time at home and just really running business from like my telephone on my couch, making sure my son doesn't smash his face on something, and just staying home. But I'm always on the phone, and it's like, if even that, like I plan to work more eventually. You know what I mean? Like I don't mind the hours of actually physically cooking. You know, I kind of miss being in the kitchen a little bit at times. I like being in the kitchen. You know, busy Friday nights. A few Budweisers going, you know what I mean?
Actually, you gotta
get some tunes, yelling at a dishwasher.
You guys
too,
have
you know?
like a good. When you have a good crew in a restaurant, I don't think there's anything better than that.
You know, and that's like, you know, you got to work well. I mean, there's 3 guys cooking. There's 4 guys, there's usually 4 to 5 guys in the kitchen, and if everybody knows how to do their job, you know, in any kitchen, you're going to be all right. If everything goes smooth, like the waitresses and the servers are making good orders and writing good orders, and you know, we're well stocked, and everybody knows what they should be doing and doing their job, man. We put out a lot of food. I mean, I put out a lot of food in that my kitchen is
you guys
10 by 10.
You crank it
I put out so much food out of
that
that
thing. You ever thought
of
like opening it up?
Yeah, but there's just it's just not possible. Yeah. Anything's possible, but it's not. I'm not going to do it. It's just, I'd rather just keep my small little kitchen. But it's really just like the success is just going forward. Keep moving, change your menu, make it look cooler than it did the last time.
Yeah.
Make yourself just make yourself better. Like I don't think it's the best restaurant in the world. You know what I mean? So that's what maybe like I want it to be.
That's a motivation.
You know, and not even that the best restaurant. Like I want every customer in there to be happy because, you know, like the way I run things is it's a little bit, I don't know, raw, I guess, because like I've thrown a lot of people out of
Yeah, but
you know, I've done things like, you know, like you see like taco Nazi style, like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? You know, like the way I run this thing, get out, you know. Like,
I was in there one day and some girl called him a faggot.
Yeah.
I don't
know. I was like,
remember
don't
why.
feel bad about that because I don't like to use that word. That's like racial slang almost. You know what I mean? Like sexual.
It's a horror word.
That's a sexual slang. And I'm like, nice, really nice lady. You know what I mean? And she
what was that
honestly,
over? Do you remember?
Probably because we had a line of people to the door and the phone's ringing off the hook and she wants to play 20 questions on what comes on a burrito. You know what I mean? Like eventually it's like, hey lady, you don't know what we have yet. Get back in the line. You know, like that's how I want it to be. You know, like I like it that it's like that. And you know, but no, it stinks. We have problems sometimes with because I'm that way. Or like, and you can be that way. I allow my employees to have a little loose fun with it. You know what I mean? And sometimes it doesn't go quite according to plan, and a few funny things get said. All of a sudden, I'm on the phone with like some angry lady who's telling me that, you know, the waiter or the cashier or the freaking cook was a jerk to her. You know what I mean? And I don't know the story because like I'm at home making sure my kid doesn't smash his face. You know, and I'm talking on the phone, and it's like, you know, like having a restaurant that's like that